Hi, my name's Tony. Last year as an E-Fellow I had plenty of opportunities to have a think about and explore some of the technologies that I think will play quite a big role in the way that teaching and learning happens in schools in New Zealand in the future. If I had to pick just one technology that I think would play a particularly big role in shaping teaching and learning in the next 5 years, I would have to cheat because I couldn't pick just one technology. What I would say is any device that connects to the internet. So from students' 3G mobile phones to their PSPs to iPhones and iPod touches, right through to netbooks, which are the little computers, the little laptop computers which have very small hard drives but are primarily used to connect to the internet, through to, as we've already got in many schools, teacher laptops and computer suites. We're already starting to see quite a few of these devices coming into schools already. Schools are investing in pods of netbooks or cows of laptops to be wheeled around into classrooms. Students have already got mobile phones on them. Many students have got PSPs and other gaming devices that connect to the internet. So why aren't we seeing a change already? The number one reason is really obvious, is because of the cost that is associated with this already. So I think in the future when we're going to start to see these devices having an impact is when students can just walk into school and their device will be connected to the school network and you'll just have internet on hand 24/7, and we won't even think about it, just like we don't even think about switching on a light switch. You just walk into school and you've got internet there in your pocket or in the little computer in front of you. I don't know about a time frame for that. Some schools are already working on developing a model whereby students can, and members of the community as well, can connect their mobile devices or wireless devices to the network and use that. I think when teachers start to be able to use the internet, rely on having an internet connection in their classrooms and start to use it as one of their main tools for teaching and learning, I think then we're going to start to see far more advanced developments in the way that we use the web to connect with others and particularly with our communities. For me, one of the biggest things in my classroom is, right, how can I get the community into my classroom? At a surface level, talking about how can I enable field trips to happen, or experiences that we might have had at a field trip. How can I get that sort of learning happening in my classroom without having to leave the classroom? How can I get the school community more involved with my classroom? How can I get our local community, so parents of the school who often have a huge amount to offer, how can I get them into the classrooms and seeing what their students are doing, interacting with the work that they're doing and also contributing to the content and the learning experiences that are happening, but also how can we get the global community involved? And the second part of that is, how do we get our student learning outside of the classroom? So how do we share the ideas that are happening in our classrooms? How do we share the work that's taking place? How do we share our findings? How do our findings of our research actually have a meaningful impact on the world around us? So I think that when the internet starts to work like that, and we can start to actually rely on having a connection, actually rely on the type of work that will be enabled by internet access, when we can rely on that, that's when I think we're going to start to see huge developments in the way that we use the internet, and therefore the types of tools that we're going to use to access the internet will become so much more important. At the moment, I think using those tools, it doesn't feel natural. It's awkward to try and get students on the internet. Particularly, we're not going to expect students to pay for their own internet access and access the internet via the 3G network. That's just simply not going to happen in most schools. But when the internet does begin to play much more of a role, and when we don't have to think about data charges, because schools have got policies to deal with this, or communities are pitching in, and we have got internet access, that's when I think we're going to start to see some huge changes.